No, in any of these forms, asexual reproduction is totally absent. Then, moving further to certain characteristics or basic features of asexual reproduction. As I told you already, we introduced you with this. The first feature is that this is uniparental, that is beginning with one parent only. Then there is no fusion of gametes, no reproductive organs are required, cell divisions are mitotic, and due to this reason, this reproduction is also called somatogenic reproduction. Just to remind you here, children, soma means body cell. So because this occurs from any part of the body cell, it's also called as somatogenic. Genesis means birth. So somatogenic reproduction. Then the daughter individuals are morphologically similar, and this is a rapid means of reproduction, a quick method. And finally, there is no wastage of energy in formation of a large number of gametes. So before we move further, let us see what all things we have done just now. I hope you can see it clearly. With the terms, all of you should please write it and stick to the meanings. Ask me in your text into the group whenever and whatever you have any doubts. So I have done with you reproduction, lifespan, the stable, exactly how you have to learn it, clone, gametes. Then there's a difference table I have made it for you for clone and offspring, and I hope you understood. The purpose or the need of reproduction, modes of reproduction, and characteristics or the basic features of reproduction. And children, before we move on, just remind you, I am sticking to the first 7 pages of the textbook that I have already sent you through the file yesterday. So those who have the textbook, the volume 2 of Veerbala Rastogi, it is first 7 pages depending on that what we are studying today. So let us move further. Now this is a method just to classify with this table or the types of asexual reproduction. I hope you can see it clearly. Asexual reproduction is being divided, or you can say categorized, into various forms. The first is fission. Second, budding or torulation. Third, fragmentation. Fourth, regeneration. And fifth, sporulation or spore formation. Fission. The basic meaning of the term fission means to divide. So let me remind you, children, you can copy down in the same format. This is just the gist of the entire thing given into the textbook. So please tabulate it accordingly. The rest we'll discuss through our text and you can read it at home. Fission, as I said, means to divide. Basically, it's of two types: binary fission and multiple fission. Binary means 2. Binary is a term you also use in computer, the binary digits. So binary means 2. When one cell divides into 2, you call it as binary fission. Multiple at the same time, where it means one cell divides into many, and then you call it multiple fission. Binary fission, it is given under 3 heads in your textbook. First, it is given into bacteria, that is the representatives or the example from the kingdom Monera. Second, kingdom Protista, where is protozoans. And third, in the free living planaria, where it occurs by transverse division. Further which, moving, let us complete only binary just now. So descending from here and under Protista or the protozoans, we move down and we see there are 4 methods of division. These are irregular. Irregular means there is no set direction. Example is amoeba, as you can see. I'll just show you. Amoeba divides like this. It's a process what is irregular, you can say, and though it is a water animal, you can say, a water individual, where it can possibly change its shape every time. So the division in amoeba, it is irregular. Then coming back to this, the second type of division is transverse division, where it is given in binary, where given in paramecium or the group of ciliates, and transverse means oblique. So this is, if you can see in your textbook, the paramecium transverse binary fission. You can see the body of the member, it is dividing in a transverse process, right? So this binary division fission is called as transverse binary fission. The third method is longitudinal binary fission, and the example is Euglena. This is the category of flagellates. So you can see this Euglena, the longitudinal binary fission, and you can see the body dividing lengthwise into two new individuals. So you don't need to copy this diagram, children. These diagrams, you are already having it in your textbooks. These are just explanatory and you can refer to the same. The last method given as a directional method under binary fission, under Protista, it is oblique, and this is given into Serratium, that is not shown into a picture. But the direction, as you know, will be exactly oblique. Coming back to fission and the second category, multiple fission. This is basically given under two heads, that is in amoeba and in Plasmodium, that is the causative agent of malaria. In amoeba, if I show you here, amoeba, if you can see this, the first method is whenever the conditions are unfavorable, the individual secretes a three-layered cyst around itself, and this method is called as encystation, right? And the nucleus inside, there's a single nucleus normally, but you can see the nucleus divides into several daughter nuclei which are seen inside, and a little cytoplasm collects surrounding the nuclei and forms what you call as amoebulae or pseudospores. Pseudo means false, right? So whenever the conditions are favorable, these are liberated and a new amoeba comes out. So basically, this is not just a method of multiplication, but it's a method of survival under unfavorable conditions too. Okay, coming to the multiple fission in Plasmodium, that is here. Plasmodium is the causative agent of malaria, right? Now this malarial Plasmodium, it completes its life cycle into two stages. One is completed in man and the other is in Anopheles, that is female Anopheles mosquito. So into this, the multiple fission, which is called sporogony, forms members called sporozoites. You can just write down over here, this is a term called as sporozoites. That is the infective stage of malaria. So this is over. Fission, you have to study only this. Binary fission, multiple fission. Binary, I told you, of three different heads: bacteria, protists, planaria. Under protist or protozoans, we had irregular, transverse, longitudinal and oblique. With the examples mentioned, please write down into a table. Amoeba for irregular, paramecium for transverse, Euglena for longitudinal and Serratium for oblique. Coming to the second method, what we call as budding or torulation. Now what is budding? Budding basically, it's a very common method of reproduction in lower organisms. And why it is called torulation? See, I'll show you some diagram first. See this, the unicellular yeast or the Saccharomyces, the scientific name. Now as you can see, children, the parent body, whenever it has to multiply by asexual means, shows a protuberance, what you call as a bud. Slowly and gradually, this bud starts getting detached from the parent parent material, right? Now in this case, what happens in yeast, sometimes there are chains formed like this, right? Like this is the parent cell this is a new bud, and before separation only another bud forms, and this is a chain like this. So this resembles a fungus called Torula, and for the very reason in yeast especially we call budding as torulation. I hope that's clear. Torulation is strictly used for yeast because of the similarity in shape to the fungus called Torula. Alright. Another method of budding, now we won't say torulation, it is restricted here only. Another method of budding is external budding, or what you also called as exogenous. Exo means outside the body, and this goes on in Hydra. So you can see the body, this is the hypostome, the mouth, the tentacles. So Hydra, a tiny bud is formed, and then this gets detached later and a parent material multiplies, right? Another method coming under this budding only is endogenous or internal budding or gemule formation. Maybe you're hearing this word for the first time. Gemule, G-E-M-M-U-L-E formation, and the example is in freshwater sponge or the spongilla. It's a scientific name. Now how is it? I'd like to show you the diagram first, though I have drawn it, but first I'll show you the pictorial. In your textbook, from the file that I have sent, refer this diagram. This is a gemule that is formed in sponges by asexual method. You can see there is a micropyle, a neck-like structure, and undifferentiated mass of cells, what we call as archaeocytes, right? Now what happens? This is surrounded by a thin membrane, and there are presence of spicules or certain pointed objects which are in around the clusters of these archaeocytes. Now what happens? Each gemule looks like a hard ball, and it has an opening at the top, right? Whenever the conditions for the multiplication are there, the archaeocytes move out from this opening, from this micropyle. They move out and they float in water. As you know, sponges, they live in water. So these archaeocytes move outside, they float in water, and in presence of favorable conditions, they form new sponges. So what happens? This gemule formation is basically under unfavorable conditions by asexual method. And conditions, whenever they become normal, many archaeocytes, they move out and new sponges, they come out into water. So back to this, fission is over, budding is also over, right? Let's revise once again. Budding, that is torulation strictly in yeast, exogenous or external budding in Hydra, and endogenous or internal budding or gemule formation in freshwater sponges. The same diagram I have tried to just show you. Archaeocytes, then differentiated mass, and the gemule formation. Third method, fragmentation. This is an accidental method of asexual reproduction. Examples you can write down in the algae category, the Spirogyra, the filamentous alga. Coming to fungus, you have heard of Rhizopus, the bread mold, and the third, starfish. So all of them, they accidentally, if a part is broken, they will recover and they'll divide into new individuals. Regeneration. Regeneration